Hello and welcome to everyone to the channel Learn with Learners. Today we are going to cover the part 1 of the Indian Constitution. In this video we will cover the part 1 of the Indian Constitution. As we know that part 1 comprises from the article 1 to article 4. So don't worry, you will remember all the articles by heart without any remembering. So in this video we will cover the part 1 of the Indian Constitution. Part 1 of Indian Constitution. So, as we know that Indian Constitution, what is Indian Constitution? It is a book. Indian Constitution is a book. It is a bulky book. Bulky book. What is Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution is a bulky book. And as we know that from the previous class, we are learning that in our Constitution there were the initially there were the 395 articles. There were the initially 22 parts. Initially there were the 8 schedule, and now perhaps we have 448 articles, 25 parts, it is confirmed, and 12 schedule. So remember, what is Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution is a book and it is divided into the various parts. Like when we look at the suppose when we look at the any book, then what we found? We found that the book is suppose a book is divided into the various parts. Like for example, understood with example. For example, if you look at the part 1 of the Indian Constitution, then part 1 only deals with the union and its territory. Means union and its territory. So part 1 does not talk about the any other things except union and territory. So it will means when we study the part 1, then we know that what are the different types of the territory that could be in India. What is actually the India? Name of India. Union means country. Means we will study about the name of country when we go through the part 1 of the Indian Constitution. Also we will know about the territory of the India. What are the different types of the territory that can be existed in India? For example, when we go through the part 1, then we will know that we have the territory of state type, union territory type. Also there may be the acquired territory. So don't worry, when we go through the part 1, then we will cover all these things. And for example, when we look at the part 2 of the Indian Constitution, you found that it deals with the citizenship. Means when we study the part 2, then you will only study about the citizenship, how you can acquire the citizenship of India, what are the various provisions, what are the various terms and conditions that you have to fulfill to get the Indian citizenship or to become an Indian. In the part 2 also we will study about the what are the basic terms or the condition through which the government can terminate your citizenship. So in the part 2 we will cover the citizenship. In part, if you look at the part 3rd, then it deals with the fundamental rights. Then indirectly I want to say that these parts are only made for the convenience of what? For the convenience of a study of the Constitution. Like part 1 only talk about the union and its territory. Part 2 only talks about the citizenship. Part 3rd talks about the fundamental rights. If you look at further part 4, it talks about the DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. If you look at the part 4A, it talks about the fundamental duties. So indirectly I want to say that the Indian Constitution is a book and this book is divided into the various parts. Like part 1 talks about the union, means it will talks about our country, and also what are the different types of the country that can be in India. Also if you look at the part 2, then it will talk about the citizenship. All the matters related to citizenship will be discussed in part 2 and nothing else. Means you have to know about the citizenship. Then what you have to do? You have to open the part 2 of the Indian Constitution. You will get everything there. Like the part 3rd, it talks about the fundamental rights. Part 4, it talks about the DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policies. Part 4a, it talks about the fundamental duties. So you understood the what are these different types of the parts. When we go through the this Indian constitution, then we will be able to understood all the parts by heart, line by line. So don't worry. Till now, what we have studied? We have studied that initially when our constitution was framed, then there were the 395 articles, but at present we have the 448 articles. Initially, in Indian constitution there was the 22 parts, but now 25 parts. Initially there were the 8 schedule, but now we have the 12 schedule. And remember why all these things are increasing in number. Number of articles has been increased, number of parts have been increased, number of schedule have been increased. This is because we have there is the provision of amendment of the constitution. Amendment, you know about the amendment? Amendment means there is a provision of amendment to the Indian constitution. So with the time the new items or the new things are being added from time to time to the Indian constitution. That's why these numbers are increasing. So these numbers are increasing mainly because of the provision of amendment to our constitution. Because we have the provision of amendment, we have the provision that we can make some changes to the Indian constitution. So as per need, day by day the new articles are being incorporated in the Indian constitution, and the number of articles is increasing. And general, if the number of articles will increase, then the number of parts will also increase. So don't worry, all these things will are this. So now we will completely focus on the part 1 of the Indian constitution. And also remember that now we have 28 states. Now we have 28 states and 8 union territories. How many states? We have the 28 states and 8 union territories. Now we will study the part 1. So part 1. Before going through the part 1, remember that what initially I have told you. I have told you that Indian constitution is a book. Indian constitution is what? It is a book where articles are written. So suppose the article, when we open the book, then articles will be written in this way: Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, Article 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or suppose 12. Then this is the book, and when we open the pages of the Indian constitution, then we find that Article 1 is written, Article 2 is written, Article 3 is written. Then from Article 1 to Article 4, it comes under part 1. It comes under part 1. And from Article 5 to Article 11. From Article 5 to Article 11. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It comes under the part 2. It comes under the part 2. So, understood what are the different types of the parts. Parts are nothing but these are the combination of articles. So part 1, how many articles in part 1? In part 1 there are 4 articles. Article 1, 2, 3 and 3rd. And how many articles in part 2? Article part 2 contains 2, 4, 8 and 9 articles. 5 to 11. So so understood. Here we will study the part 1, and part 1 contains how many articles? 4 articles. Whose articles? Article 1 to Article 4. This means in part 1, Article 1 contains Article 2, Article 3 and Article 4 are there. So now we will study what is Article 1. What is Article 1? Article 1. When we look at the Article 1, then it is written that Article 1, name and territory of Union. Name and territory of Union. Here union means our country, that is India. So there is clear cut article 1 is clear cut saying that name and territory of union. What does it means under article 1 our country name is Hindustan, some say that our country name is Bharatvarsh, Aryabharat, also some say that our country name is India. So there Jambu Dweep. So there are the so many name of our constitution. There are so many name of our country like Jambu Dweep, Hindustan, Bharat, Aryabharat, and India. So, but all these things are not accepted by the Indian Constitution. So we will study what is the name of Indian Constitution as per our Constitution. Also we will study about the territory of India, means what kind of the territory can be existed in the Union territory. Like normally we know that in India there can be the state, like because we have the states. There can be the union territories that is under control of the central government. Then can other territory may exist in the India, we except states and the union territory? Yeah, there is another type of the territory that can be existed in India, that is the acquired territory. So when we go through the article 1, then we will study. So at first we will look at the article. There are 3 clause of the Indian of the article 1. So at first we will go through the article 1 clause 1. So when we look at the article 1 clause 1, then what is the text? Article 1 clause 1, it is written that India that is Bharat shall be union of state. So what is written in article 1 clause 1? India that is Bharat shall be the union of state. So in this article 1 clause 1 we have to study about the 2 things. First, India that is Bharat, and second, union of state. So according to this article, according to article 1 clause 1, it says that our country has only and only 2 names. What are these names? India and Bharat. So simply we can say that according to our constitution, our country has only the 2 names, that is India and Bharat. So the Hindustan, Aryabharat, Bharatvarsh, Jambudweep, all these names are not accepted by the Indian Constitution. If anyone asks you that what is the name of our constitution according to the constitution, then you have to say that we have the only and only the 2 names of the of our country, that is the India and Bharat. India and Bharat are only the names according to our constitution. So part 1 we covered, and second one is the India that is the Bharat shall be the union of state, means our country should be the union of state. Our country should be the union of state, means our country shall be the union of state. What does it means? We cover the part 1. In part 1 what we cover? We cover that our country has only and only 2 names. First one is the India and second one is the Bharat. Jambudweep, Aryabharat, Bharatvarsh, Hindustan, all these names are not accepted by the Indian Constitution. These are the names, not the names according to the Indian Constitution. According to Indian Constitution, we have only and only the 2 names, that is India and Bharat. And second part is that article 1 clause 1 says that India, our country shall be the union of state. So you have to start study about the what is union of state and what is federation of state, because there are the 2 terms. First one is the union of state, and second one is the federation of state. In simple, if we say that union of state, what does it mean? It means group of state. And federation of state, it is also the group of state. Then what is the difference between the union of state and federation of state? What does it mean? When in the case of union of state, the different state come together and they form the group, and they make the agreement that we will never come out from this group. So that is the union of state. Means in simple we can say that what is the union of state? Union of state means group of state where no single state can come out from group. In simple we can say that union of state means, what does it mean? It means group of state, and when we form the group of state, then there is no provision of the seceding of the any one state. In simple we can say that union of state, what does it means? Means the group of state where no single state can come out from the group. But in the case of federation of state, it is also the group of state, but here a state can come out from group. That is the federation of state. If you don't have understood, don't worry. It is said that India is the union of state. What is India? India is the union of state. But if you look the USA is the federation of state. Here you will study, you will be completely aware what is actually the union of state and what is actually federation of state. So as we know that when the India became independent, then there were the perhaps 546 princely states. When the India became independent, then there were the 546 princely states, and these states, so these princely states, when the India became independent, there were the 546 princely states. Understood how many the articles, or how many the princely states were there? So when the India became independent, then these princely states come together and they form the group, and that group is named as what? That group is considered as our country, that is the India. But in the case of USA, there is the federation of, and when these princely states come together and they form the country that is called Bharat or the India, then but they have entered into this, they have formed the country with a agreement that they will never come out from this group. But in the case of USA, if you look at the USA, perhaps there were the some states and they have come together and they have formed a group, and that group is named as USA. That group is what? Named as USA. And in the case of USA, the single state can come out from this group, so it is the federation of state. So simply understood that union of state means no single state can come out from the group, and in the case of federation of state, state have the power to come out from the group. So India is the union of state, it is not the federation of state. This means that in India no single state can come out from this union, no single state. In the case of India, suppose if the Bihar wants to come out from this group from our country, and they and the Bihar want to form a separate nation, then it can't do it, because it is the union of state. Union of state means no single state can come out from the group and form a other nation. But in the case of USA, it is the federation of state. In federation, if a state wants to come out from the federation, then simply the state can come out and they form the independent nation. But it is not in the case of India. No single state can come out from this union. So understood what is the actually. And when our constitution was framed, then in article, as we have already know, that in article 1 clause 1 it is said that our country should be the union of state. Then someone asked why we are using the union of state, why we don't use the federation of state. Then the B.R. Ambedkar gives the two reasons why the India is referred as the union of state. B.R. Ambedkar, according to B.R. Ambedkar, he said that why our country is referred as our country is union of state. Why our country is union of state? Then the B.R. Ambedkar told that our country is union of state because no single state can come out from this union, this union, this union, or we can say that no state can leave the Union of India. No state can leave the India. Leave the India. And second, B.R. Ambedkar told that it is not the result of an agreement. B.R. Ambedkar, second what to the B.R. Ambedkar told that our country is union of a state. Then someone asked, what does the union of a state means? Then the B.R. Ambedkar told that union of a state means no single state can come out from our union. No single state can leave our country. As I have told you that if the Bihar wants to leave the country, then Bihar can leave. No, it can't leave. But in the case of USA, if a state of the USA wants to come out or leave the country, then simply the state of that USA can leave and form the another nation. But it is not in the case of India. And secondly, he told that India is not the result of India is not the result of an agreement among states like USA. India already existed. Second, what is that? He said that our country is not the result of an agreement like USA. India already exists. Means what does it mean? India, our country already exists. It has not been created like USA. In USA, when the some nations become the independent, then they come together and they form a group, and they named that group as a USA. But in the case of India, as I have told you that 546 princely states were there. Then when these princely states become independent, then they do not come together and they form the group and they named the group at India. No, India was already existed. It was already existing. It was not formed. So it is said that India is a result of an agreement among the state. It is not the result of an agreement among the state like the USA. India already exists. India was already existing. So this is all about the Article 1 Clause 1. So simply if we look at the Article 1 Clause 1, what we study in Article 1 Clause 1? In Article 1 Clause 1, we have to study about the two things. First, name of our country. Name of country. And as I have already told you that according to Article 1 Clause 1 or according to our constitution, our country have only the two names, India and Bharat. Jambu Dweep, Bharat Varsha, Aryavart, all these names are rejected by the Indian constitution. And secondly, we know that our country is union of state, not federation of state. Federation of state. What does it mean? Our country is union of state. This means that our country was already existing. It has not been created by grouping the some states. Our country was already existing. But in the case of USA, the different nations come together and they form the group and they named the group as a what? USA. But in the case of India, it was not there. And secondly, it was in the case of India, no single state can leave the country or no single state can secede from this union of India. So what we have studied in Article 1, and now we will study the Article 1 Clause 2. So in article, if you look at the Article 1 Clause 2, it is written that name of the Article 2, if you look at the 1 clause 2, then you found that it is written that the state and union territories, there shall be specified in first schedule. What is written in Article 1 clause 2? The state and union territories shall be specified into first schedule. So at first we have to study about the what is actually the schedule is. So what is schedule? SCHEDULE. Schedule. Schedule, it is said that schedule is explanatory memorandum. It is the explanatory memorandum of an article. What does it means? It means that schedule explains the article in great detail. If the article have the some limited words, then schedule explain that article in great detail. In simple, we can say that schedule explains the content of article of our constitution. So if you have to know about the particular article in great detail, then you have to look at the schedule which is concerned to that article. So what does it means? In simple understood that schedule is nothing but it is the explanatory memorandum of an article. Schedule explain the article in great detail. Schedule explain the article in deep. Simple schedule. And Article 1 clause 2, what it say? It said that state and union territories shall be specified into the first schedule. It means that the name of state and union territories will be written in schedule first. So if you have to look at how many what are the various states and union territories that are existing in our country, then you have to do nothing but you have to open the schedule first, you will get there. In simple, we can say that according to Article 1 clause 2, the name of state and the union territories will be written in where? Schedule first. In simple, we can say that if anyone have to know about the how many states are in our country, how many union territories are in our country, and what are their names, then you don't have to do anything but you have to open the schedule first of the Indian Constitution, and you will know about the name, what are the names of the different states and the union territories. So all these things. And now we will study about the Article 1 clause 2. Article 1 clause 3. 1 clause 3. If you look at the text of Union 1 clause 3, then it is written that territory of India shall be first state, second UTs, and third acquired territory. What does it mean? It means that according to Article 1 clause 3, the territory of India, in India there shall be the three type of the territory. According to Article 1 clause 3, there can be the three types of territory in India. How many types of territory in India? State, there can be the state in India, there can be the union territory in India, and there can be the acquired territory. Simply we know that we have the different types of there are the so many states. So we understood that we all are aware about the state territories. We are also aware about the union territories, because as we know that we have the 8 union territories. So these are the, but third category, that can be the acquired territory. In India there can be the acquired territory. So at first we have to know about the what do you mean by the acquired territory. Acquired territory means what? Acquired territory means those territory which is occupied by our nation through war, through an agreement, through an negotiation, that is called acquired territory. Acquired territory means what? Acquired territory means territory occupied by what? War, agreement, negotiations, or the through purchasing the territory. Suppose in simple we have to understood about the acquired territory, then don't worry. Suppose acquired territory. So suppose now suppose there is a war between the India versus Sri Lanka, and suppose the India won the war and it occupied what? All the territory of Sri Lanka. Then what the Sri Lanka will be? Sri Lanka will be the acquired territory. Suppose if the India purchase some part of the Pakistan through money, then what the that part of the Pakistan will be considered as the acquired territory. So the acquired territory is nothing but acquired territory is such type of the territory which is with us because of the war, because of the negotiation, because of the agreement, because of an purchasing. Suppose today India is going to make an agreement with the Bangladesh that Bangladesh some part of the Bangladesh will be given to the India. Then the part of Bangladesh which is transferred to the India, that will be under the that will be considered as a acquired territory. So there is the best example of the acquired territory in India. For example, when our country become the independent, then the Pondicherry was not the part of India. Pondicherry was not the part of India. When our country became the independent, then Pondicherry was not the part of India, but it was when Pondicherry. If you look at the Pondicherry, then we found that it was considered as the acquired territory. Pondicherry was acquired territory from 1954 to 1962. What does it means? It means when our country has become independent, or our country become the independent, then Pondicherry was not the part of India. Pondicherry was not the territory of India, but it was under the control of French. So the French make an agreement with the government of India, and they make it clear that now the Pondicherry is transferred to what? India. In 1954, Pondicherry was transferred to India. In 1954 until 1962, Pondicherry was regulated as an acquired territory by the Indian government, and after the 1962, the Pondicherry is converted into the Union territory by the Indian government. So look, what is the example of the acquired territory? The best example of the acquired territory in India is the Pondicherry. Pondicherry was when the India became the independent, then Pondicherry was not the part of India. It was the part of French, and the French were controlling the Pondicherry. But in 1954, there was an agreement made between the French government and the Indian government, and it was said that now the French will be transferred to the Indian government. And from the 1954, Indian government start to regulate the Pondicherry as a what? Acquired territory. But it continued till 1962, and in 1962, the Indian government decided that now we will not regulate the Pondicherry as a acquired territory. Now we will convert the Pondicherry into the Union territory, and Pondicherry in 1962 was converted into the Union territory, and now Pondicherry is a Union territory. So understood what is actually the acquired territory. There is also the concept of acquired territory in the Indian Constitution. So understood what we have understood till now. If summarize the Article 1, then what we know about in this article? Article 1, if you look at the Article 1, it is written that name and territory of India, name plus territory of Union. Means in Article 1 we will study about the name and territory of India. If you look at the Article 1 clause 1, then we found that Article 1 clause 1 talks about the two things. First, name of our nation, that is Bharat and India. Second one is it talks about that it says that our countries shall be the union of state, not the federation of state. What does it mean? It means that our country is the union of a state. Means the no single state can come out or can leave the country and become as a and can exist as a separate nation. That is why. But USA is a federation of a state. In USA, the single state can come out or the leave the nation and form the separate nation. Secondly, we talk about the Article 1 Clause 2. On Clause 2. In Article 1 Clause 2, we study that name of the state and the union territory should be written where? In Schedule 4. This means that if you have to know about the how many articles, what are the names of the state and the union territories in our country at present, then you don't have to do anything, but you have to open the schedule first. You will get everything there. And second one is that then we study about the Article 1 Clause 3. In Article 1 Clause 3, we know that according to Article 1 Clause 3, it says that in India there could be the three types of the territory. First one is the state, second one is the UTs, and third one is the acquired territory. And how the acquired territory could be through the war, negotiation, or through an agreement. For example, Pondicherry was an acquired territory from the 1954 to 1962 because Pondicherry was under the control of the French and it was given to the India by French government in 1954. So understood what is actually the acquired territory concept. And now we will study about the what is the actually what we understood about this. Now we will study about the Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. If you look at the text, then it is written that Article 2, admission and establishment of new state. Admission and establishment of new state. What does Article 2 talks about? Admission and establishment of new states. Means how a new state can be added to the our country. For example, suppose if the Bangladesh have to, suppose some part of the Bangladesh, some part of the Bangladesh is going to merge with the India, then what will be the procedures, who can make all these things? Article 2 talks about. Second, here also it is written that parliament can pass the laws to admit into union or establish the states on such terms and condition as it thinks fit. What does Article 2 talks? Article 2 says that Parliament have power to what? Parliament have power to pass the laws to admit into the union or establish the new states on such terms and condition as it thinks fit. Means according to Article 2, if a territory have to merge with the India, or if a territory, if the some piece of the land have to added to the our country, then who is the all in the power or in role? The Parliament. Parliament have power to admit the new state or the new land into the our country on such terms and condition as it thinks fit. Means the Parliament is all in all while there is a matter of admission of the new land into the Indian territory. So Article 2, what the Article 2 talks about? Article 2 talks that, or Article 2 says that Parliament have power to admit, to take the admission. What does admission? Admission means new entry into something. Means Parliament have power. Parliament can pass the laws to admit the new state or the new land or new piece of land into our country. Understood with the help of example. There was a country whose name was Sikkim. For example, suppose sorry, when our country become independent, our India become the independent. Sikkim was Sikkim was not part of our country. When our country has become the independent, then Sikkim was not the part of our country, but the Sikkim take admission into our country later. So how the here we understood that the Sikkim when our country become the independent, then Sikkim was not the part of India, but later it take admit into the our country. In simple, we can say that Sikkim become the part of country, or Sikkim joined our country. So understood what history about the Sikkim. If you look at the Sikkim, then you found that initially the Sikkim was ruled by a monarch. There was a king who ruled over the monarch, but over the time that monarch feels that there is some insecurity in the Sikkim, because China, because of the expansion policy of the China, Sikkim feels insecure. That's why the it decided to make an agreement with the Indian government. Understood what? Initially, the Sikkim was a ruled by the monarch, and it was not the part of our constitution. But over the times, the Sikkim felt that when the time goes away, then the Sikkim felt that Sikkim is insecure. It can be occupied by some other state nations like the China, because China was expanding. Because the China followed the theory of expansion theory. That's why the Sikkim felt what? Sikkim felt the insecure. So the Sikkim decided to make an agreement with Indian government. Make the agreement with India, and India become the protectorate. Protectorate. No, no, sorry. Sikkim become the protectorate of India. Sikkim become the protectorate of India. What we have studied? Initially, the Sikkim was not part of the India. It was ruled by the monarchy system. Later, it took admission into our country. So, when it was ruled by the monarch, then the monarch, after some time, the monarch felt that Sikkim is insecure. It can be annexed by the China because of the expansion policy of the China. So, the Sikkim decided to make an agreement with India, and Sikkim made an agreement with India, and in agreement it was said that now the Sikkim will be considered as a protectorate of the India. Means, what does protectorate means? Protectorate means when a small country, or the when a small political entity is protected by the, when a sorry, when a weak country is protected by the strong nation, either diplomatically or the militarily, then it is called what? Protectorate. Means, in simple understood that India goes in agreement with Sikkim, and it was said that now the India will protect the Sikkim from the outsiders, from the annexation of the outsiders, and it was said that now the India will give the military support, diplomatically support to the Sikkim, and Sikkim become the protectorate of the India. Later, what happens? Later, the it becomes till 1976, Sikkim was the protectorate of India, and after 1976, the Sikkim became the associate state of India. Associate state of India, and ultimately in 1975, Constitutional Amendment Act passed by the Indian Parliament. That was the 36th Constitutional Amendment, and it was said that 5 19 1975, 36th Constitutional Amendment Act passed, and Sikkim became the regular state of the India. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribes and share the videos. Thank